We welcome in Kyle Cousin, who is the women's soccer coach at the University of Tulsa. And coach, as we kind of review the season, first of all, a season like no other. Yeah. You know, no preseason at all prior to the conference beginning. And then, of course, you don't play in the fall, you play in the spring. So a little bit disjointed year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was different, to say the least. You know, we got here, the girls got here in July like they always do, and they go through summer school and working out with the strength and conditioning coach, and Lauren does a great job with them, getting them ready for preseason, which started in early August. And then that's when we really felt like things were going to be semi-normal, because at that point the American Athletic Conference, we were going full bore that we were going to play in the fall. And so we went through all of preseason, everything seemed like it was on track, and then a week right before our first game, we found out that we weren't going to play in the fall, that we were going to move to the spring. And so then it's okay, shift gears a little bit and try to figure out how do we make this a year-long process instead of a 3 or 4 month process. And so yeah, it was very different, because we did go through the fall without just practicing, no games. And then they basically get all of Thanksgiving, Christmas off, and so they're gone for about a month and a half, and then it's try to get right back into it and actually jump straight into playing conference games early spring.
Yeah, no non-conference games at all for you. So you start off with 2 really difficult games against a nationally ranked Memphis team. Decent result, lost 2-0. But then I thought maybe one of your best games of the year was the follow-up game at home against UCF. You beat them 3-2. First time you'd beaten UCF in quite a while. Gave you some hope there, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was first time ever to beat Central Florida. And so when we're 1-1 after those 2 games, and those 2 teams, along with South Florida, who we played the 3rd game, being the top 3 teams predominantly in the conference, we knew it was going to be tough. And then Cincinnati ends up being in the conference tournament with only 4 teams in the conference tournament. So if you go back and look at it, we really played the top 3 to 4 teams the first 4 games. And we were young this year. We had a 27-man roster, but 10 of those players were either freshmen or transfers, and then another 7 of those were sophomores. So out of 27 players, 17 of them are underclassmen, and so we really looked at this year as kind of growing and building into next year. We knew that it was going to be tough, and just like you said, trying to figure out how those younger players play, and trying to figure out our system and all those things, but also in the midst of playing those tough conference teams was just not ideal situation, but it was almost baptism by fire, right? I mean, we got to learn a lot about our kids from the start, and so very excited about our future. And you look on paper, and 2-6 isn't a great year, but from looking at it from how we built and grew, and then also giving our 4 seniors a great send-off, I thought it was a successful year.
Well, and after you get those 3 goals against UCF, you're thinking, hey, we're going to put the ball in the back of the net, and then all of a sudden you just couldn't. I mean, I know that's a frustrating thing. Sometimes you can dominate play and still not get the ball in the back of the net.
Sure.
So, unfortunately, you didn't score as much, obviously, as you wanted to through the rest of the league season.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, and that's one thing that we've tried to address through this spring and through our recruiting. We're trying to bring in a few more players that are more attack-minded, if you want to look at it that way, and we're, like I said, very excited about who we have coming back, but also the 16 new girls that'll be here next fall.
And just to cap things off, you did end the season on a really strong note against Arkansas Pine Bluff, scored 7, right?
Yeah, and so, and I said this after the game, and I'll say it again, I can't thank our administration and Pine Bluff enough for making that game happen. Pine Bluff came to us after their conference season was basically over, just to really help us out, and the administration here wanted to see a senior day, and so with our last game against SMU getting canceled, it looked like that wasn't going to happen, and they did everything they could to make that happen. So just so thankful that we got just the opportunity to send our seniors off the right way, and yeah, you couldn't ask for a better ending, not only to a tough year, but also to a career for our seniors that were here for the last 3 to 4 years. So.
And of course, with the youngsters and all of the players that played in the spring, get to repeat that year, if you will. Yeah. But Madison Tokarczuk ends up being on the all-rookie team in the American, so that's a nice honor for her.
Yeah, and same thing. Maddie did a great job for us, and she was one of our freshmen that it was baptism by fire. I mean, she's always played in the midfield or outside back, and we needed her early on the season at outside back, and so she played against one of the best forwards in our conference and probably in the nation the very first game. Her first college game is against Memphis, and so we thought, same thing. She did a great job, not only in that game, but throughout the year, and was rewarded with that title and that award. And so we were excited about that, because we always describe individual awards like that as team awards. She couldn't have done that and received those honors without a team behind her, and so we're excited for her to get recognized like that, and our team to get recognized by that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Madison and a whole bunch of others coming back, along with a huge signing class. So I mean, you're next year, if nothing else, you're going to have numbers.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be the first time that we've had this big of a roster, but we are excited. Like I said earlier, we have 16 either freshmen or transfers coming in, so 16 brand new players to our program, but we're excited about that. But you look at it too, with, like you said, with the 8 freshmen from last year who didn't use any eligibility, all of a sudden 24 of our players are going to be technically freshmen next year. So it's a good problem to have. I love what we've done in the recruiting process this year. We have filled some gaps, and so I'm excited. I'm excited about the group that's coming back, along with these players coming in. It's going to be a fun year. I'm excited.
And it's a short turnaround. Normally you have a full year to get ready for the next year. They're going to have to stay in shape in the summer, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And so, but they always do a good job of that. And like I said, Lauren, our strength and conditioning coach, does a great job of keeping them on task through the next couple months. So they've already received their summer workouts, and we're waiting for our freshmen to graduate high school, a lot of them, and then we're going to start with the Zoom calls, getting everybody kind of on the same page. That'll basically be through the month of June. Then July, they'll be here for summer school, working out with Lauren and our strength and conditioning coaches, and then we're back at it August 3rd. So it's a short turnaround, but once again, I think it just adds to that excitement of it's going to be here before we know it, but that's a good thing. I mean, after the year we've had last year, just going through COVID and all the protocols and everything that we've had to do, and I was proud about our girls staying in their bubble. We didn't. None of our girls, I believe, missed any games based on that or contract tracing or anything like that. So I thought they did an exceptional job of just putting soccer first and putting our program ahead of a lot of their social events and those kind of things. And so very proud of them from that standpoint, but really looking forward to this fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And also during the summer, Coach, you have your camps, the ID camps. You have one in mid-June, also in the second week of July, and then one in late July. So explain what the ID camps are.
Well, the ID camps are just a way for us to identify high school and JUCO players for us to watch them, and with us being in an NCAA dead period since last March, we're still in until June 1st. This is really going to be our first time to get to watch some of our recruits play again, and so once again, just excited to be back out on grass and get to have that part of the recruiting process back. It just has been really weird watching video and just being able to talk to a lot of FaceTime, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of emails and those kind of things, but never that face-to-face interaction. I mean, even the kids that have come on campus and gone through admission tours, we weren't allowed to talk to, and so it was just really weird that kids would be on campus and then they would go through everything and then call you, afterwards, and say, okay, I'm leaving, So, but I think that's one of the reasons why we are doing 3 ID camps this summer. We usually we try to spread those out, but because we haven't really been able to recruit for a year now, we just want to get back at it, and we're going to try to get as many high school. It goes 8th grade through junior college, sophomore. So we're trying to get that demographic on our campus to see what we're about, see them play, and have them experience University of Tulsa women's soccer.
Well, have fun in the camps, and I know it's always a good recruiting tool.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
The young ladies talk about. They go to several ID camps, and they come to yours. It's something you can really do some good recruiting there, right?
Yeah, and just can't wait for it to all get started. I mean, I think we've been looking forward to June 1st for for the last 4 or 5 months, just because it seemed like the dead period just kept getting pushed back and keeps getting pushed back. But it really looks like June 1st is it's finally going to be over, and we can get back to some normal recruiting.
Coach, thank you for your time. Have a great summer. We'll see you in the fall.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Kyle Cousin, University of Tulsa women's soccer.